Hi guys, Peaches here, and we are doing a podcast with...
My name is Jack McCoy, or my YouTube is NickeyMckoy. Weird name, I really don't give a crap about it, but yeah.
And this is fursuits and such.
Yeah. Okay, so with the podcast, so I think we're talking about fursuits. That's correct, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Wait, are you recording right now, or?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Okay, just leave that with him. Anyway, so explain what you want to talk about with fursuits and that. Like, do you want to talk also about the general, like the furry fandom in general as well?
Can do, yeah.
Okay. Well, how did you find the fandom then?
I originally found the fandom from someone I met on PlayStation, I want to believe.
Oh.
And
wait, no, do you got a PlayStation 4?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I do too.
And then after that, I looked into fandom and found a website called Furry for Life, and since then I've pretty much just been in a fandom.
Yeah, that's how usually everyone else finds it. The way I found it was much more horrible, much more cringy, and much more confusing. The way I found it was, I was just doing the usual, just watching my average odds one out video, and then I come across a recent video called Reading More Fables, I Swear I'm Not a Furry. And then I go, what in the hell is a furry? So I go to the best place in the world, Urban Dictionary. Those days I would still remember seeing so much horror, so much confusion, and that. And then it told me to look up E621. Yeah, not a pretty good thing, but then over time I thought, oh, screw this. This fandom's just basically normal, and that is not the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Yep. Got any questions for me?
Yeah, like how to wear a suit. It's more than wearing a suit. Like, you have to maintain them, you have to clean them.
Yeah.
Brush them, obviously.
Yeah, and let's say you damage it a bit. It's like, oh no, you scratched your car, but then, in other words, it's more fragile, and it's like crashing a Lamborghini.
Yeah, it's quite fragile. It's like the worst of it. This suit actually is when I was at Fur Meets before, like last year, it was either I think it was last year, yeah, around summer.
Yeah.
I sat down on a bench and it's ended up ripping the whole back of the leg on the suit.
That would have been horrible.
So that took quite a bit to stitch, because the problem with that was you don't really wear much under your fursuit. You only really wear, like, well, I do, pajama bottoms and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So when you do a big rip on the back of a suit, then all you're going to see is just pajama bottoms.
Oh,
so,
that is just horrible.
That was quite embarrassing. So I was walking around all of Birmingham with a massive hole in the back.
Yeah, well, shit like that usually would happen. I mean, once I went to Armageddon and there was a fight between two fursuiters, it was somewhat funny, somewhat pretty expensive of what I just saw happen. I mean, imagine getting a fursuit head ripped in half and then, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the main issue with suits, though, is they are very delicate.
You would usually think something well, usually everything that is expensive is very delicate.
Yeah, like, the how delicate they usually are is, even when it comes to washing, you have to put it on pretty much the lowest setting your washing machine will do. And you have to use special, like, hand washing liquid and stuff like that. Because you can't use normal washing liquid you use for your clothes on suits, because what it will do is it will end up fading the fur and discolouring it.
Yeah, I mean, with stuff like that, it's like, for example, my phone, pretty delicate. Well, since it's on the bed, well, I used to have another phone, but I would just throw it all around. It was just basically a bulky phone, but pretty useful. And, yeah. And yes, shit like that. I mean, when you are hearing about fursuits made by fursuit makers, I instantly think, oh, they're pretty good, but over time you will go, well, they're very easily rippable in that, so I'm unsure if they're actually good. But then I realized, oh, they are. It's just how they're made. Well, how all fursuits are made. Yeah.
As they are good quality, it's just to do with the type of fur that's faux fur. It's like a fake fur, but over time it does end up unstitching and ripping and stuff like that on the seams. It's just
legit the
really
only way
wear
you
and
can make
tear.
a good fursuit is by actually skinning an animal and wearing that fur. But
no,
no one really can do that.
It's actually fake fur, so it's like synthetic, like plastic kind of fur.
Yes. But, so basically you're safe from PETA if they try knocking down your door.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember something someone said to me once. It was like, are you a brony? And then I just go, yes, I'm a brony from the 1700s where I skin a horse and wear it. Yeah, just weird shit and that.
I mean, you can get fursuits to look, well, realistic, but those are also using fake fur. Like, there's no fursuit that actually uses real fur.
Yeah.
And that's probably because it's, well, more affordable for real fur, and there's a wide range of colours.
Yeah, it's like, it's all that. And, well, with shit like that, there's always going to be, like, competition with fursuits in there. Like, people will say, oh, that fursuit is shit. Well, that fursuit is shit. And then we're not even going into the mersuits that get shat on, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter on how much it is on the suits usually, but it's basically, as long as you're having fun in a fandom, it doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, I mean, I saw shit happen all the time, and then I went, so is this like normal in the fandom or not? Because this was during the time, I mean, I'm not really a furry, don't tell people. Yeah, but like people getting bullied in that, it's also common in the fandom.
Yeah,
as well.
It's pretty common in the fandom that you end up getting people who want to do drama and as well as drama, they want to like cause fights and that.
I think it's just paranoia in that of getting bullied in that.
But even though it's common, it's not seen in the fandom that much. Like, it's very rarely you will see stuff like that happen.
Yeah, I mean, you would also see people get basically beaten up because they are very in public in that, but when it's in the fandom, you could get much more worse done to you, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, well, what do fursuits feel like when you're wearing them? That's actually a good question right there.
They're actually pretty comfortable. It's kind of like wearing a furry like bathrobes, but the thing about suits is every single different colour piece of fur is all hand stitched into so the whole design of a suit is hand stitched.
Yeah.
So on the inside of the suit, every single part of it's stitched together. Which explains why they're really delicate, because every single section of fur is hand sewn.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
wearing them, they're pretty comfortable because obviously on the inside it's just the backing of the fake fur. So it's pretty much like kind of like wearing a onesie really on the inside.
Yeah.
But you do make sure you've got some sort of Under Armour under a suit, because you do end up getting quite hot in suit.
It can't be as bad as wearing 5 jerseys in like 35+ degree heat for $200. I bet it's not that bad.
Well, basically what it means is you sweat a lot in suit. So usually when I suit, I'll go in the shower after, because you do sweat a lot. Like after I've suited for a few hours, your t-shirt and that is pretty much soaked with sweat. So
yeah,
after a few hours you do need a shower, because you do sweat a lot in suit, and that's why they always tell you to drink plenty of water in suit, because you do get dehydrated quite quickly because you sweat so much.
Yeah.
It's why when you go to furry conventions, they usually will have air conditioning at a convention, and that's to keep it cold enough that you don't sweat as much.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's all that's basically all true. And I mean, like in Australia, it gets to 40 degrees, and fur cons happen there all the time, and people could stay in their fursuits for like 3-4 hours, and when they take it off, you'll just see them possibly drop to the ground gasping for air and trying to get it off.
Yeah. That's why in the fursuit lounges they always will have water in that, because after a few hours you do need to have a cold water and relax a bit, because it does dehydrate you quite quickly.
Yeah, and with I mean, with some people who could take a lot of heat, I looked into it a bit and I thought, so if they could take a lot of heat, like being in a fursuit, and I go, if I was even in a fursuit, I could possibly last a couple of maybe 13-14 hours in it, because well, I'm able to just stay on the beach with what I said before, 5 jerseys on and 30+ degree heat.
Yeah, I mean, people are different depending on how much heat you can handle, but you will always still need water because of how much you dehydrate.
Yeah. And well, you know how people shit on mercenaries and that. When I looked into it, they're actually sort of living in they're actually doing something more advanced, but they're using it for only one of many reasons, like one of many things they could do with it. Yes, they're using it for sex, but when I looked into it, I thought, well, then again, they could stay in it for long periods of time without taking it off, and then if they need to, like,
Yeah.
let's say go to the toilet, they could just go to the toilet, sit down whatever they need, and then do it, but not like taking a shit in there.
Yeah, I mean, a mersuit is very similar to a fursuit. The only main obvious difference is they have holes in them for that kind of stuff. But I would say those are probably a bit more annoying because
that's true.
The problem I could see with mersuits is they'd have to be washed a lot more often than a fursuit.
$800, that's how much it costs per cleaning. That's how much I have to spend.
I mean, with my suit you can put most of it in a washing machine, but the head, which is pretty much the only problem with like 99% of fursuits, is
the head.
The fursuit's head is not washable. So you have to hand wash the head because you can't put it in the washing machine.
Yeah. Do you got anything to say, like, after any of that?
I mean, it's not that normal, but I think probably one of the most common bits of drama in the fandom usually is like art theft and copying people's art.
Yeah.
Because I see that more often than most of the drama in the fandom. It's mostly art that a lot of people copy and try and get away with, which isn't a nice thing if people do that. It's essentially you're copying someone's work that they've spent hours making.
Oh, yeah, like someone copying that art back there. Yeah. It's like if someone copies that art back there that you have on your wall, it's just basically just plagiarism, but on a whole different level.
That art I have actually is art I've brought from makers at fur cons and so. But yet again, if you did copy, it would still be plagiarism.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also another bit with the fandom, like families and friends basically going, "Oh, you're with them? Well, fuck off! You're not in the family anymore."
Yeah, I mean, that's a problem with some families, is they don't really understand the fandom. Because they see it as sexual stuff and that, but to be honest, it really isn't. Like, it's mostly about having fun and enjoying yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, for example, my cousin hates him. Like, he absolutely despises furries, and he just basically just ignores him in that.
I mean, really, a furry's like just a normal person mostly. I mean,
they could be doctors, lawyers, hell. I feel some famous people are furries, and I don't mean like actual popular furries. I mean, like, for example, any celebrity or rapper could be a furry.
Yeah.
And it's like the odds one out. You don't know if he's a furry, and yet I was watching Adler's live stream. He donated $20, and I'm like, I am now getting a bit sketched out. I don't know if you are or not.
Yeah, it's mostly to do with fun, and what's actually really nice about the fandom as well is everyone's very welcoming. I mean,
Yeah.
you do find a few bad furries in the fandom.
Yeah.
And meets and stuff, which I admit I have before. Found a few of the bad ones, but majority of them are really friendly and kind people.
Yeah, I mean, there's also another bit, like, I've seen furries get taken a lot of shit, and they really don't care. Like, I remember seeing all that shit, and then I saw a furry hater who told someone to kill himself, so I private messaged them, and then they go, "Oh, I hate furries, are you a fur fag? Yif and how, blah, blah, blah." I ended up saying, I just ended up putting in my address and saying, "You really want to come and mess with me? Because I will find you if you come over to my house and we'll sort it out. We'll sort out everything you want to talk about then."
Yeah, I mean, I tend to get furry haters every so often, but I like to kind of tease them because how I see it is, why am you hating on someone that's not done anything to you?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a pointless hating on someone that hasn't done any harm to you.
Yeah, it's like, it's also like, for example, I kind of hate Jehovah's Witnesses because I've had them show up to my house and come in. I've had to almost kick them out of my own house, of my grandparents' house. And yet, it's just those few, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's a problem with some of them, but it's very rare you find the bad ones.
Yeah.
And what's nice about suiting is, I mostly do it for fun, and what's nice is when you go to like fur meets and stuff, you like make everyone you make a lot of people happy, and you get photos, and you even get kids coming up to you wanting photos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice experience to go around in suits and getting stuff like that, which you probably wouldn't get normally.
Yeah. Oh, just a bit off topic. When I looked back at your art, I looked at it again, and I'm just asking, is that actually not safe for work art?
Which art?
The one behind you, those two pictures next to the Triceratops.
No, it's safe for work, but it's a tiny bit not safe for work, but it isn't because
okay.
It's not
I just want to confirm, really, that was all.
It's not showing any like sexual parts or something. So they're suggestive, but they're not really not safe for. They're not safe for work.
Yeah, and do you want to talk about anything?
Yeah, like, I know your school is probably going to find out anyway.
They're not going to be able to find your channel. Trust me, I'm going to make sure I keep my subscriptions blocked.
But I don't really mind so much because, like, hating that, I don't mind. Because I mostly just tease people hating that.
Yeah, I mean, the chances of someone finding this video from my school is only like 1,000 is just pretty low, I think. Maybe or not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost impossible for anyone to find my channel. That's why I chose a awfully weird name. Yeah.
I mean, mine's gone for a few changes the channel biz. I originally was kind of gaming, then it went to a different name, and now it's Furry and Gaming.
Yeah, and then there's also what am I thinking? Then there's the people with who are poppy furries, and it's just confusing of how it goes, because with social media and that, let's say you're on Snapchat, if you get like 100 followers on there, it's not really that much considering lots of people use Instagram. But then when you go to YouTube, let's say you get 50 subscribers, that's actually considered quite a bit from where I come from, because well, with YouTube it's hard to get subscribers and you actually have to put a bit of work into your content.
Yeah, I mean, like, mine's not the biggest channel, but it took a long time to get where it is, because ironically a channel's like just gone 5 years old. Because it started originally was 2013, so it's getting a pretty old channel by now.
Don't worry, I think I can't remember which is the oldest channel, but it was around in 2006. It's still up, but it doesn't have that many subscribers now.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how old it is, but the only thing that sucks on YouTube mostly is like trying to get that monetization, because how we've made it now is really stupid.
I mean, what I think is just go on Patreon and that.
Yeah, like, I'm actually setting up those for a specific like fan server on Discord.
Yeah.
And that's only going to be for Patreons and Ko-Fi supporters. And that's because my old fan channel is pretty much dead at this point. Like, there's no one on there. Very little people use it anymore. So it makes sense to start afresh and make it so you have to be a Patreon or Ko-Fi supporter to access it. So that's why it's very going to be getting inactive people and stuff like that on there.
Oh shit. Okay, so I'll be going in like 5-10 minutes. Okay, so yeah, it's like weird as crap with the fandom, and like, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, it's just
yeah, like, a fandom's kind of interesting because you find mostly the good furs. I mean, every so often you find the bad one, but
yeah,
it's very uncommon. Like, it's more common to find the good furs than the bad ones.
It's like with every other fandom. Every fandom is somewhat toxic in any way. I mean, I can confirm I'm in the SCP fandom because, well, it's just amazing what you can find on me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably because everyone in the fandom tends to be very friendly and supportive.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will tend to be supportive and happy. So they'll even go as far as, say, if you need help for, like, if you're depressed or whatever, they will actually come to you and help you out and stuff like that, which I would say the Furry Fandom's probably one of the only fandoms where you get people that are very kind and caring, but will actually help you out if you need help.
Yeah, it's like a video I saw where Telephone met one of her fans after trying to meet her, but ended up like hurting their leg or something.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get the crazy fans. Like, I've had that before, that I think at one con there was this one fan that he literally kept on jumping on my back, like every single time I was around the con, which was not very nice to do anyway, because you can't see what's behind you. And
I mean,
it's kind of scary as well, because all you can see pretty much in suit is basically there, just in front of you.
Yeah.
So you can't see what's to the side of you or behind you, so when someone jumps on you, it kind of does spook you out a little bit, because you don't know where that person is.
Yeah. If anyone ever did that to me, let's say I was in a fursuit and someone did that to me, I'll most likely either end up turning around, knocking them out, or actually just, if they're still on my back, just jumping, falling back and possibly hurting them. Because if someone does that to me, I am not taking chances that they are actually a fan or not.
I mean, I'm normally not very violent to suit, but like stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not violent.
I
think.
Stuff like that is just a nice thing to do to people. Because like literally you don't know what's behind you or such. Like, one thing I heard to happen before was when I was doing the fursuit walk, I actually ended up walking into, you know, one of those metal bollards that they have. That about a high level of your crotch. I basically walked into one of those before, and that wasn't nice. But it's because you can't see those in front of you, because all you can see is just basically there, like down below, and your sides and back you can't see. So when it comes to stuff like those bollards, you kind of have to make sure you have a handle around you or someone to point you out on them, because walking in them is not very nice to do.
Anyway, I have to go now. Thank you for this. Hopefully this is a pretty good video to put on your channel. See ya.
See ya.